I know this is going to make some people mad, but I really wish postpartum belly binders came with a disclaimer because while they make you feel more supported postpartum, they can actually increase the pressure and the responsibility on an already vulnerable and healing pelvic floor, which means it can make your recovery so much harder. And you might not even realize this or why this is happening.
You are listening to Belly Birth Beyond with Pelvic Floor Mama, hosted by Becca Boeving, a PTA, mom of two, and now your go-to pelvic floor coach. Welcome to the safe space where no topics of motherhood are off limits and judgment is left at the door. Too many mamas are dismissed when they've got valid concerns. If you're sick of hearing that's normal when it feels otherwise, keep listening.
So on today's episode, I want to talk about belly binders, a good alternative to belly binders, or some things you need to know if you're going to wear one. Okay. Hopefully I haven't offended you and you've decided to stick around. Belly binders are great in a way because they're trying to support you and help you heal in a way, right? Like when you have that compression, you feel more supported. Your body feels like it can do a little bit more. But the one thing that we aren't really taught is that when we have that support, and depending on how you're putting on these belly binders, because most of the time they're not put on correctly either, which is another problem, it pushes a lot of pressure downward. And when pressure gets pushed downward, it means your pelvic floor is having to have more responsibility. And whether you had a C-section or a vaginal birth, your pelvic floor is vulnerable, it's healing, and it needs support, not more responsibility. So one of the things that I recommend instead of belly binders are like postpartum or compression, like leggings or shorts or something that pulls from the bottom up to help still give you that feeling of support, but to also help your pelvic floor not feel like it's going to fall out, which your pelvic floor wouldn't really fall out. It would really be your organs that feel like they're falling out. And this is something called prolapse. And sometimes you get those feelings of heaviness and things when you're healing. And it doesn't have to be this way. It can be avoided. Your recovery can be so much easier if we just taught moms a little bit about what you can do almost immediately after birth. Instead of waiting 6 weeks, instead of having this vulnerable point in time, when we give you belly binders, you might feel more supported, but then you aren't really taught how to help your body be supported. You're relying on this belly binder instead of relying on teaching your body how to reconnect with itself, teaching your body how to support itself again. And so postpartum leaking, postpartum pain, like hip, back, pelvic, pain with sex, those types of things can linger. The feeling of heaviness below, like you feel like your vagina is falling out or you just feel really heavy or like that feeling can happen. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, right? When we teach you how to support yourself throughout these movements, especially if you're using a belly binder. If you're using the belly binder, we really need to teach you how to support yourself when you're standing up, when you're walking, when you're carrying your baby, if you're lifting a car seat, if you're going up and down the stairs. Like we have to help you through that. And when you aren't helped through that, because I don't think I know a single person who's been helped through it, especially in the hospital, you're just sent home on your way for 6 weeks and then your checkup is almost baloney. It doesn't do anything. It's just to help to tell you that your body's healing. And honestly, that appointment's not even there to tell you that your body's healed because they're not checking like muscular skeletal. They're not checking pelvic floor. They're not checking those types of things. And that's another whole nother problem that's going on. So belly binders are this problem because it's compromising your pelvic floor. Your pelvic floor has to work harder. And it's a problem because, like I said, leaking, pain, discomfort, all these things that can happen from having babies or from being pregnant or just postpartum, they're not normal and they can also be helped. So compression leggings are one that I really like. I have zero affiliation, no matter how hard I try, with Baby Bub. They have postpartum leggings that I've actually bought for friends, clients, and they seem to be really well. There's also Amazon brands, like we've talked about this in previous episodes. If there's any brands that you really like or enjoy, like please let me know so that way I can put them on my radar because I know that sometimes I know Baby Bubs can be a little bit pricier depending on what your budget is or your price range. So finding something that's affordable that you can use would be way it would be better for your healing, your recovery, because pregnancy and birth, postpartum, all the things are so much money as it is. So just trying to help you heal in the best way possible. Knowing how to support your body postpartum is huge. And this is something that I think we just miss. We just give you a belly binder and we hope everything's fine and it's going to be good. But we don't give you a disclaimer of like, hey, just so you know, this can increase and make your recovery a little bit harder. This can, it feels great now, but what's it going to be like in 4 weeks from now? What's it going to be like in a year from now? And that's a piece that we really need to dive in and talk about. And so compression from the bottom up is really important. Learning how to just breathe appropriately and learning how to support your body as it's healing. We need to be able to help you with these changes and these types of things as you're healing and as you're trying to feel better in your body. So this isn't just saying like, don't use a belly binder, but this is saying like, we need a disclaimer. If you're going to use a belly binder, we need to teach your body how to actually support itself. So that way, when you're done using the belly binder and when your body's like ready to get back to maybe doing more walking or lifting or working out or yoga or pull out, whatever you're doing for your workouts or for your sanity, we need to make sure your pelvic floor is supported because it's going to be responsible for like back pain and hip pain and pelvic pain and peeing when you don't want to. And when you get back to being intimate again, if you have pain with intimacy and those types of things, we can help you earlier on. And so that's my little disclaimer to belly binders is if you're going to use them, we need to make sure you use them. One, you're wearing them appropriately. And you're supporting your pelvic floor, like you're supporting yourself when you stand up. We don't want to have more pressure because as you stand up and as you have that belly binder, everything's going to go down and that's going to put more pressure on your pelvic floor. So we want to make sure that you know how to support yourself with those types of things. When you go to bend over and pick up the car seat, we want to make sure you know how to help pick up the car seat so you're not peeing yourself or so you don't have the back pain when you go to lift it up. If you're still having the pelvic or the pubic pain that you had during pregnancy that everyone told you was just going to get better postpartum, and it hasn't, because I've tried to tell you it's not just pregnancy. This isn't just hormones and baby's positioning. This is pelvic, this is an instability of your pelvis, and we need to teach your body, once again, how to support itself. So that way you don't have that pain and that discomfort when you're using those things. There's my little disclaimer, and there's hopefully I didn't offend you too much, but there's alternatives to belly binders. And especially so many people realize aren't comfortable necessarily with the belly binders or it doesn't feel right. So there's alternatives to this if you are wanting to feel more of that compression and things in that way. Your body does not need to be pulled back together. It just needs to be supported while it's learning to support itself again. Okay. You might feel weakness and not like yourself and maybe even frustrated because there's this society thing of bounce back and get better right away. But you don't have to be doing that. And you can really reconnect and heal with your body sooner. If you're postpartum and you're wanting help or support, there's a postpartum package for you. This includes all of the help and misconceptions and how to support yourself when you stand and lift and walk up the stairs and roll over and do those types of things. But then it's also 5 to 10 minutes, 4 days a week with the postpartum mom recovery reset. That can start 1 to 2 weeks postpartum by healing and reconnecting with your body. And then once you finish this program, it goes into the 6 weeks to reclaim your core. So it's not just abs, but it's your abs, your glutes, your hip flexors, your body, your core, the middle of your body that helps support you and helps support your pelvic floor. And so being able to feel strong and comfortable in your body again is really important. And I want that for you because I remember being postpartum. I remember looking in the mirror, especially after my second, and it took 2 years with my second to feel comfortable again. And even then, there's still times where I'm like, why are we so hard on ourselves? Why are we so we are the hardest critics on ourselves, and it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to be so hard on ourselves. We have to be gentle. We have to talk to ourselves the way we would want our children to talk to themselves. And that's kind of an eye opener to me. Hopefully that can help you. There's help and resources and support for you. I want to cheer you along the way. I want to be your support person. I want to pick you up when you're down. I want to remind you that all the amazing things that you're doing, especially when you're ready to throw in the towel or you feel like you're a terrible mom or you didn't do this or you didn't do that or mom guilt takes over, because I've been there and I've drowned in those thoughts and those feelings. And I don't want anyone else to feel that way and feel alone when they're feeling that way. Because you're a superhero, mom. You're doing great, even if you feel like you're not. I'll put some of the resources down in the show notes below. If you want to send me, I would love to hear, like, what are some of the hardest things that you've had postpartum? Send me an email, put comments below, something like that. And I would just love to have like conversation about some of the hardest things you've experienced during postpartum. Once again, I'm sending you so much love, Mama, and thank you for listening.
Nothing is TMI when it comes to motherhood, and common doesn't necessarily mean normal. Always trust your gut and never stop advocating for the care you deserve. If you enjoyed this podcast, help it reach more mamas like you by subscribing and leaving a review on your preferred listening platform. Keep in touch with me on Instagram by following Pelvic Floor Mama. See you next time.